Hello, my name is Julio Aparicio, and today I'm working with my friend and classmate Griselda Rodriguez. We're going to show you the four types of English sentences. So let's get started. I would like to start saying that the meaning of an English sentence depends on the word order. This means that we put the subject before the verb and the object after the verb. First of all, we have the simple sentences. A simple sentence is a single clause which contains a subject and a verb, followed, if necessary, by other words that make up the meaning. For example, Mary sneezed. The bus didn't come. Somebody coughed. People were waiting. But it's also important to bear in mind that a simple sentence can also have an object or an adverbial, such as an adverb, or just a prepositional phrase. Let's check some examples. For the simple sentence with objects, we have my mother made dinner. I brought some sodas. We drank soda. Everyone enjoyed it. We have also with adverbials, we can use simply suddenly, the weather changed. We quickly ate dinner. It often rains there. With a prepositional phrase, a simple sentence could be Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway in 1582. He moved to London in 1588. With this information in mind, we now know that a simple sentence don't necessarily need to be compounded by two words. It can contain other words, of course. And in addition, they can also have linking verbs such as be or look. This type of sentences can have complements as well, and their function is to describe the subject. For instance, Karen is a nurse. She wasn't ready. Her hair looked wet. The room felt like an oven. Samuel feels like an oven as well. Now that we are familiar with the simple sentences, let's combine them. Because when we combine two simple sentences, we are transforming them into a compound sentence. For example, we have two different sentences here, two different simple sentences. Tom found, he left a message. If we transform it, we say Tom phone and he left a message. In English grammar, these joining words are known as coordinate conjunctions, and they are very helpful. They help us to show addition, continuation, contrast, choice, result, or reason. It has been all for me. My classmate will continue with the other type of sentences. Thank you.
Hello everybody, I will continue talking about complex sentences. These kind of sentences contain one independent clause and one or more dependent clauses. Dependent clauses are sometimes called subordinated clauses. We all know that an independent clause is a complete idea. It has a subject, a verb, and a complement, and it makes sense by its own, whereas a dependent clause doesn't form a sentence on its own. It cannot stand alone. So when you put these two types of clauses in a sentence, you create a complex sentence. Dependent clauses always begin with a subordinating conjunction like since, because, while, and others. In fact, the subordinating conjunctions help you to identify dependent clauses. You have to learn them by heart in order to identify dependent clauses from independent clauses. Now you have an example of complex sentences. Having a party is a bad idea because the neighbors will complain. You can see that having a party is a bad idea is the independent clause because it is a complete idea. Then we have the subordinating conjunction because that introduces the dependent clause because neighbors will complain. In addition, you can put the dependent clause first, but in this case it's necessary to add a comma, so it will be like because the neighbors will complain, having a party is a bad idea. Now, let's continue with the compound complex sentences. These kind of sentences have two or more independent clauses and one or more dependent clauses. That means that these kind of sentences contain two or more complete ideas and one or more sentences that cannot stand alone. Here you have an example. She forgot her friend's birthday, so she sent a card when she finally remembered. As you can see, she forgot her friend's birthday is the first independent clause. Then we add a coordinating conjunction. In this case, it will be so to introduce the next independent clause. So she sent a card. And finally, we add the subordinating conjunction when, which introduces the dependent clause when she finally remembered. And that's it. Many people think these two kind of sentences are the most difficult, but the truth is that maybe they're just a little bit confusing. You just have to analyze sentence by sentence, identify each one, if you have an independent clause and a dependent clause, or if you have two independent clauses and a dependent clause, and in this way, know what kind of sentence you wrote. And also, it's very important to study the different conjunctions, if you have a subordinated conjunction or a coordinating conjunction, because in this way, you will be able to know if you have an independent clause or a dependent clause. And that's it. Thank you.